We could be taking control if we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle. It wouldn't be this difficult if we try to be.
Friends, Mauritius money laundering, financial action task force FATF, closer scrutiny, lesser scrutiny, dual impact. Plenary session of FATF started on 17th October. A decision that led to deeper scrutiny, blacklisting by European Union and investment restrictions imposed by the Reserve Bank of India. Whitelisting of Mauritius is expected anytime soon. Whitelisting of Mauritius is expected anytime soon, and maybe it has already come, I do not know. But the Mauritius, which was suspected for money laundering or passing money through Mauritius in different vehicles, FPIs and FDIs, was suspected, and it was put under scanner on plenary session of FATF started 17th October, a decision that led to deeper scrutiny. Blacklisting by European Union and investment restrictions imposed by the Reserve Bank of India. Whitelisting of Mauritius is expected soon. So if Mauritius is now bit okay, some other country may come up to pass on money for different funding purposes. So, entered in grey list in February 2020, re-rating on cards after certain legal and regulatory and operational changes made to combat money laundering and terror funding. Made to combat money laundering and terror funding. So what is that? So if we just have an idea, I will give you a quick look, and please hear me closely. Though Mauritius is out of grey list and flows from the island nation are reducing, use of offshore financial centers by businesses and high net worth individuals to avoid taxes is still rampant, as revealed by the recent Pandora Papers. Indian regulators need to continue the dialogue with other regulators on information sharing regarding these tax management arrangements. So, they say it is easy and lesser in cost to pump money through Mauritius agencies. And apart from that, when it was found easy, they also thought it easy to pass money for funding terrorists and money laundering activities. While Mauritius route is largely sanitized now, India should be wary of tax evasion and round tripping. Now the problem is tax evasion and round tripping. The Financial Action Task Force removing Mauritius from the list of countries requiring increased monitoring comes as a piece of good news to the Indian regulators. The FATF blacklist comprises countries which are required to improve their policies to prevent money laundering and terror funding. Thus far, India's regulators were in a fix with respect to funds coming from the island nation. While SEBI decided to adopt a wait and watch approach and did not pass any restrictions on portfolio flows from Mauritius, the RBI had directed last year that a financial firm should not be set up with funds from Mauritius following FATF placing Mauritius in the grey list. So after placing of Mauritius in grey list, the funds coming from Mauritius were not allowed for setting up financial firms. It's welcome that authorities in Mauritius have worked closely with the FATF to address the gaps in their processes to combat money laundering. Indian regulators should, however, continue their endeavor to track and clamp down on money laundering through the Mauritius route. Mauritius route has been the highway, and now it is now put under scanner and now almost ready to be whitelisted. Mauritius had become the preferred channel for routing foreign investments into India due to two reasons. And the first reason I read, the India-Mauritius Double Tax Avoidance Treaty, DAA or the DTAA. The India-Mauritius Double Tax Avoidance Treaty allowed foreign investors using this channel to avoid capital gains tax on investments. To avoid capital gain tax on investments, this route was much preferred. The Indian-Mauritius Double Tax Avoidance Treaty allowed foreign investors using this channel to avoid capital gains tax in investments. So that is the first reason. Second reason is the Mauritius Offshore Financial Center wooed foreign investors with rather loose regulations that made it easy for companies to round trip money into India through nameplate entities, shell companies. So what Indians were doing, make a shell company, go to Mauritius, open some accounts and round trip the money. The first reason is to avoid taxes, because it is come from the other land, the taxes are not. Otherwise, the capital gains, capital LTCs, long-term capital gains tax would attract them, and they will have to lose something, a greater amount. So the reason was that. But with a higher scrutiny of the shell companies with with the adoption of the general anti-avoidance rules in 2017, coupled with the tweaking of the DTAA, which moved the tax benefits in this route, the Mauritius route has become less attractive. From then on, people avoided going to Mauritius. They started even that way also. Our money is not advantageous for to go to Mauritius and come back. So if it was advantageous, it would have continued. This is evident in the fund flow data towards the management beginning of 2012. FPIs from Mauritius were the largest holders of the Indian equity and debt instruments amounting to 2.9 lakh crore. The FPIs from Mauritius were the largest holders of Indian equity and debt instruments amounting to 2.9 lakh crore. Now, the US was the second largest of FPI money then, followed by Singapore and Luxembourg. But Mauritius has slipped into second position in the last 5 years. FPIs from the US currently hold 19.17 lakh crore in Indian markets compared to just 5.72 lakh crore held by investors from Mauritius. So Mauritius was once on the top list. US, Singapore, Luxembourg, they were on the downside. But now Mauritius has come down and US has come up because of the FATF rules and the intergovernmental body FATF doing its scrutiny and scanning and watching the money flowing to India in different routes. Though Mauritius is out of the grey list and flows from the island nations are reducing, use of offshore financial centers by businesses and high net worth individuals to avoid taxes is still rampant in some route. Evolving an international consensus is the best way to address this. India should continue to play an active part in OECD's BEPS discussions to find a viable solution to fight tax evasion. Despite the work done over the years, the multi-layered organizational structure in Mauritius-based funds still makes it difficult to identify the ultimate beneficiary. Such issues need to be sorted out. So friends, this is a good question in the company secretary's exam. FATF is the intergovernmental body and this watches the flow of money from all corners into the stock markets and avoidance of tax and doing terror funding and money laundering, which always is a danger to the nation and economy as a whole. So now, as of now, the Mauritius route is sanitized. It is cleaned and sanitized in this way. So the Mauritius route is sanitized. So we are sanitizing our hands and Mauritius route is also sanitized, but it is sanitized. While the Mauritius route is largely sanitized, India should be wary of tax evasion and round tripping. So let Mauritius come from grey zone into white zone and let not any other nation take that grey position, so that all the nations can live in peace and have a wealthy behavior. Thank you, friends. This is regarding FATF. This is the Expansion Financial Action Task Force, an intergovernmental policy body that monitors the color of the money by setting anti-money laundering standards. Mauritius, which was traditionally preferred by the international investors due to its tax advantage and low operational cost, was put in the grey list by the FATF in February 20. So the dual impact: RBI may lift curbs on ownership and control by entities in Mauritius, investing in Indian NBFCs payment companies. Lesser scrutiny: beneficial ownership of Mauritius vehicles coming as FPI and FDI. Close scrutiny: intergovernmental body FATF sets global anti-money laundering rules (AML), global anti-money laundering (AML) rules. A grey list means certain gaps in an AML systems. Grey list means certain gaps in AML system. Grey list inclusion: global investors and offshore funds entering India through the Mauritius are betting that the tax haven will shed some of its stigma and come out of the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force. Thank you, friends. This is Dilsevit Ratnam signing off. See you in next episode. Bye.